Time for another build video. This time we are doing the shoulder lamp, and this time, a little different than the other build videos, I'm going to build it live as opposed to having one built and then do it, because over the years, I have built, I don't even know how many, resin shoulder lamps. These are my old resin kits that are, honestly, this weighs about 2 pounds. Raw, this weighs about 1 pound, less than 1 pound in the raw component. So this was like a nice weight sitting on your shoulder. This will be much more comfortable to wear and carry around. So I've built so many of these kits. I'm just going to build this. It honestly, with the way the 3D print kit is done, it shouldn't take more than like 15 minutes. It is a very simple kit. All of the parts are pre-drilled. Everything is ready to go. The biggest nightmare with the resin kit was you had to go in and drill all the holes, get everything prepped, clean up this. There's really nothing like that on this. If you order this kit through my eBay store, it will come with all the screws and nuts and bolts that you'll need. It will come with the back brackets for mounting this onto the armor. I'm missing one, there it is. You can upgrade to have the metal ones. Of course, I don't have a metal set of metal ones here. These are the parts for this. Metal brackets to go on here. I think one of them, the holes on those are randomly drilled, so you might have to re-drill the holes on the pieces to make them line up better, because they're not, they're not perfect every time. We have a no solder lighting kit. It's very simple. It's got a simple LED. It's not ultra bright. I hate when people have these like massive 5 million lumen lights on their shoulders blinding everybody. It's just a light. It doesn't require soldering. All these parts unclip so that you can run it through the different things. Running the batteries, I'll show all that in a second. All the screws are included, all the parts. We designed this so that this can move and you can lock it into whatever position you want. Maybe you want a little bit more of an angle going sideways instead of going straight up and down. You can do that. If you want your lamp head, oops, going the wrong way. The lamp head, it's very snug, and I love that. You want your lamp head perpendicular, you want it a little bit facing out, a little bit facing in. You can get away with that. This is adjustable. It's got an opening so that it's not going to lock in. It's going to give you a few degrees to move left and right if you want to have a little, looking out a little bit more than the old one. So all that comes with the cost, of course. There's more parts, more screws, more nuts, more bolts, more things that you need. I will try and call out all the sizes in case you want to 3D print your own through. I also offer these in Cult's 3D website. You can just download the 3D files and print your own. And if you want to go get your own screws, I'll call them out. So this is all the parts, and I'm just gonna build. Like, let's just go for it, and I will call stuff out as we go, and let's do it. For this build, you will need, obviously, screwdrivers. You're gonna need Phillips heads, and then the rest of them are mostly hex heads, M3s and M4s. There are a few others. So you'll need a screwdriver or a drill with a screw gun, I would call it. You will need a hot glue gun to put the light in, to kind of hold it in the back here. And that's pretty much it. There'll be a little bit of super glue. There's not a lot of super gluing in here. Most of this is going to be screwed together. That's about it. Obviously, it's printed in green and black, but you could always paint it to give it more and weather it afterwards. So let's get started. And I'm going to fire up the hot glue gun and probably burn myself a few times. While the hot glue gun is hot gluing, we're going to build these. So the first thing we're going to use are these guys. All right, rather than pausing every time, if I can't remember the size of the screw, I'm just going to put it on the top corner of the screen up in here somewhere. So these are M3 by 50 socket head. So we're going to start by dropping one of these on here. They should all fit everything. In some shots, these are silver. I think that's how they come on the original reflector prop, but I think some of them were painted for the movie and then some, faded off. All right, get them in place. And then we'll put a little, oops, I dropped the camera. We'll put a little drop of glue behind just to kind of lock them down so that this piece doesn't turn and rotate while we're doing this. They've got a little notch in here to kind of hold them in place. want to make sure they're kind of squared. Yeah, I glue my finger to it. And that guy's all right. All right. Next, to lock them in even more, we have these little spacers. So these, and I lost one. I always throw in extras in the kit. They're little beads from a bead store, but they are the perfect size to fit on one of these M3s. And then just squeeze them down and get them to the top. And that will kind of hold this in place. So you don't really need glue. If you don't want to use it, you could just use these spacers. And like I said, you need 4. I usually throw in a bunch just because I know they're easy to lose. Anything else for this? Okay, get this one. And one more. Okay. And make sure we readjust these for where they were. Square them up. All right. Locked in. Next, 6 of these plates. And remember, we're doing them with the little nub facing up to give that spacing. And done. And again, you can put a little glue in between or here and there. I don't think you need it. And I don't like that the super glue accelerator tinted that, but we can always put a little flat black on there later. All right, now let's do the electronics. My hot glue gun should be nice and hot and ready to scold me. So take our electronics. First, we're going to unplug the switch and run it through the side. And you can decide which way you want this switch to face, where off or on is this way. I don't remember what these, whatever you want. I don't remember what those symbols mean. It just clicks right in place perfectly. Run this wire out the front. We're going to take this guy. Re-looking at photos, I realized I used to run it through this hole in the back because I figured that's what it was there for. But apparently in the movie, this wire just runs right out the front, just like that, and runs down the body. So we're going to try that today. So we're going to re-clip right here. And we're going to kind of curl. I don't know why I use so much extra wire. I honestly could clip this a lot shorter. I'm just going to coil up all this extra wire in there like that. And we're going to hot glue that in place. Just a ton of hot glue. And then sit it back in. All right. And we're going to run a little more hot glue on the sides. I use a lot of hot glue. And then a little bit of hot glue right there so we can, whoops, attach our wire. We're just going to hold it until that hot glue cures. Clean up any hot glue. I might even use a little super glue down here just to keep this part tucked. I think there was a staple. It almost looked like I saw a staple there. I'm going to pull off this hot glue because it's not sticking. And yeah, I will use a little super glue. And a little zip kicker, even though it stains. Okay, make sure we get this guy facing front. Clean up the excess hot glue. And then we can attach these vanes. They just go right in those holes. And again, you can use a little hot glue, or a little super glue rather, which is what I will do just to make sure it stays in place in each of these holes. And there we go. And now we can set that aside for a second and work on the arm. Let's build the other part of the arm, and then we'll attach it in there, and then we'll go with the rest. So we got these pieces here. This is the top, as we said earlier. This will be let's see, is this the front? Does the front have the knob? I can't remember. They're weirdly reversed in some shots, so we're going to go this way. And since it's on our shoulder, this goes out to the left. They're opposite. One side will have the knob, and the other side will have the knob on the bottom. So the knobs are over here. We've got an opening, and we've got these guys here. Where'd they go? There's two different. There's a M3 by 35 and an M3 by 30. M4 by 35, M4 by 30, sorry. And I'm missing one here. So I put a little screw. I used the M4 nut. I pushed it all the way up to the top, rolled it up there so that it would go in here like this. And we push it in and give it a nice pull through. And now you've got a twistable knob that actually holds. Through like that. And then you've got your other M4 nut. That's not an M4, that's an M5. I can, these things are nightmares to tell apart. That's an M3. Wait. Or no, is this the right one? There we go. It should perfectly fit in this hole with a little bit of pressure because you want it to be snug. There we go. Goes right in there. Now this goes here. This guy goes through, catches that nut, and then we just screw it in place. And there you go. And that is in there. Okay, we're going to do the same for the top one. You could leave it out, like not do the screw part, so you can turn this all the way if you wanted, but I don't know. That's up to you. I'm going to do the same thing again. Okay, there we go. Just remember the top one uses the slightly longer screw. The bottom one is the 35 and 30. And those are our two pieces. And even screwed in, this will still let you turn it a little bit to just give a little bit of a look. And now this goes inside here. With the wire continuing down the front, I'm going to throw a little electrical tape on it to hold it. Just make sure you give it a little bit of room so that it can tilt up and down. And now we have this is our M5 by 40 hex head cap screw, and you'll have an M5 nut as well that goes with it. And this is going to be the same kind of thing. The M5 goes in the nut side. You can see that it's got it like that. You might need, these are very tight tolerances so that they don't turn, so you might need to use a tool just to push it in to get it in place. There we go. And then we just run straight through the other side. You will need a something, socket wrench, what have you, to do the last bit of it, because once it gets in there, it's going to be hidden inside. Okay. And you're done with the hot glue gun. You can unplug that now so you don't burn yourself. And then make sure you just give it a little. We don't want it too tight. You want it just snug so that the head isn't floppy, but you want to be able to move it. Now, we'll throw a little electrical tape on there. I'm sure you could glue it down as well if you wanted to, but I think it was probably black gaff tape in the movie. And this goes on that wire like that. And then it's going to run this way. We can unplug this guy. And we can take over here. Got our Velcro and our battery pack. And this goes right inside the back here. You could use bigger batteries. In the past, I used to use D batteries. And they're great, but they last forever. But they just weigh so much. This will run, I don't know, like 24 hours, but weighs nothing. Like you're better off like this. Next up, we're going to attach this guy here. This is out of this bag with the attachment hardware. It's going to be 2 of these M5s. Boom, boom. Like this. Put a washer. And these are captive nuts, or retaining nuts, whatever they're called. So they have the little silicone in there, which is really annoying, but that's what I have. And remember, you can upgrade to the metal hardware kit that I offer for this if you feel like it's, you're going to be running around like crazy. You want to do something silly in your gear. Hold this end, and then, oops, screwdriver head. I'm sure there are smarter ways to do all this, but this is what I'm doing. There we go. Looking sweet. All right, so next we're going to do the handle. The handle, as we were saying, goes this way. The flat part is going to be against this side, and this is facing towards the armor, so this is going left. So we're going to start this guy threading through here. And again, the only part that needs to be painted is going to be this head, only because I couldn't find any 6-inch bolts like this in black. It's a pain, but like I said, one day I may switch to doing just a smaller bolt on each side, since this no longer has that kind of strength requirement, but for now, this is what we have. We knocking everything over. This is easier with a drill. I should just go grab my drill. I'm being lazy. I'm going to clean up. Hold on. Okay, these are 1/4 by 5. We're going in this way. Start it up here. And then we're going to meet it on this one. And we're going to use the drill. Grabbed everything. Use a drill. This would be a lot easier because hand screwing this takes forever. Get a wider one. Okay, and now we're going to bring this to here. Okay. Next, this wire connects to this wire here. Runs through here on the side. If you can see, my light's in the way. Get all the way in. This connects to here. These guys clip together. It honestly goes together really well without any glue. I'll tighten this guy up in a second. Could probably put a little bit more electrical tape on this to hold that wire in place, so you don't want it flopping around or getting caught on anything. And then you've got these 4 number 6 by 1s go in each of these 4 corners. If I can find the rest. Boom. And there we go. There's the shoulder lamp. This arm comes way forward. Put that all the way in there. This guy comes forward. Oops, of course I'm way too zoomed in for you to see what I'm talking about. That's zoomed in. All right, so the way the lamps usually were in the film was this arm was way forward. This is on the back of the armor. This is kind of touching the shoulder armor. And this lamp was kind of pushed forward, almost touching as well. So they could reach over and grab it, turn that light on, turn the head a little bit to focus whichever way you want to go. That's it. That's your lamp. The only other parts would be this, which goes under here, and then this would attach to the armor. Oh, I did skip one screw. Then there's this guy, and then there's a screw on this side right here. Another M5 by, I don't know. I'll put it on the thing. And this is to stabilize this guy. So what I usually do is I tighten this up just snug. Put this guy underneath here. And usually put a little tape to hold it in place. And then I'll place this on the armor and mark where everything goes on the armor. Then drill the holes, and then these extra screws and nuts and washers are all for the parts that attach to the armor. And that's your shoulder lamp. That's all the parts to it. And you can adjust this, make this a little tighter. So I don't think this is tight enough right now. To make the head stay in place a little bit more. And this guy, of course, would come off. So when you're holding the lamp, it's just, I got to take the thing off the mount here and actually pick it up. This thing's big. And then you would have this as your shoulder lamp, and there it is. You can weather it. I usually do a little airbrush black in all the little lines to give it a little wear around the edges. But that's it. That's your shoulder lamp. Yeah. All right. Sweet. All right.